Welcome back, everybody. My name is Grace, or Gibby, whatever you prefer. And today I'm making a video talking about this most recent release, both of the Blarney War items and of the Fall Dryad form armor. Now, where to start? Honestly, where to start? Let's take a look at these weapons. This is the Tarnished weapon, which is the publicly available war reward that you get for beating like Grouchy Sham or whoever. I like the way it looks. This is the War Kills reward for getting 1,000 kills. I also like the way it looks, and I'm having trouble picking between the two. I sort of feel like the gold is very pretty, but it's a little too much, and the darker colors are like generally better, but they're not like flashy like the gold is. But the weapon. Let's talk about the weapon. You condense earth and magic, coursing through your weapon. Its strikes will now connect without fail. Okay, so that's pretty good. Change your weapon to Ancient Charge mode. This damages you, but can burn your foe. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to lose a little bit of HP and inflict 40% melee worth of burn. It's a power 1 burn for 4 rounds, 40% melee, which means the cost is 20% melee. If you don't care about the numbers, who cares, but you pay a small HP cost to pay for that burn, as well as the MC, I believe. So you get 15% in HP cost and 5% in MC. Pretty sure that's right. Now, auto hit mode. Whoops, didn't mean to click that. Auto hit mode, simply an attack, but if you check the battle log, Grace Thithith rolled a guaranteed hit. Pretty nice to have. Keep in mind, this auto hit is on the new standard, so it does 85% damage instead of older weapons, 65% damage. That on its own is huge. If I were to say use Santa Avenger, I could use Santarctic Fury, and I would never miss with this weapon, and I would only take a 20% damage penalty, which is sick. It's sick. So I'm really happy with this auto hit weapon. Now, what's the rule of AQ? The rule of AQ is that if warriors have something, mages need a better version. Now you might be thinking, mages already have Earth Auto Hit, Sizzler Explosion. You'd be completely correct, but they got a new, even better version in the Fall Dryad form. This spell seeks between earth and water, and it does auto hit as well. See, guaranteed hit, dealt magic damage, etc. It's nuts. This armor has okay LE comp, not great actually, only like 1.48, so I'm told. But it's pretty good. And the skill seeks between earth and water. So let's see if we can get lucky and find a water monster. Or I'm not going to get lucky, I'm going to go to the shower. But here you can see the skill will do earth damage because the earth resistance is higher than the water resistance. So obviously, just a normal seeking skill. But it's really nice to have. I like the art on the armor. I know it's reused from a monster. I just think it's cool. Cool monster, cool armor. So I'm very happy with the armor as well, just on a flat-out basis. About the power of these two items. Obviously, an auto-hit armor or an auto-hit weapon, it's not great on its own. It depends on what you're using it against, how you use it. I think it's a great tool, though, to apply with other armors, like, for example, the Kringle armor. Its skill is a very strong weapon-based skill, so it inherits that auto-hit. Or you could use it on something like Academy Elegance, which also boosts your weapon damage. And again, this will be auto-hit. You could also use it on something like a Beast Form ability. Now, I have Werepire, and I have Strength and Intellect, so I can showcase both items at the same time. But all of these ways are very useful ways to utilize this weapon's auto-hit. Now for the armor. Fall Dryad form. Let's just do some boosting. Now I have, wow, that's a visual bug of some kind. Yeah, okay, so it pulls out the basic sword. Oh, what the hell? What kind of weapon am I? Okay, it bugs out your weapon icon, but who's counting? Aside from that, we're not worried about that right now. I'm just going to do my mage boosting, equip Celtic Wheel for an intellect boost, and call it a day. And now we're going to use the skill. So that's at least like 1500 damage, 1600 maybe. Strong ability. Obviously, I'm using some very strong, slightly pay-to-win boosters with the Polala pet and the Fenrir guest. But it's a good ability, and it seeks between elements. I don't know if the earth is weaker than the water. That information hasn't come out yet, because you would, depending on how the Ellie comp is calculated, the earth might be slightly weaker than the water. But it might not be. I'm not sure. Either way, though, both earth and water auto hit skills on a spellcaster lean armor. I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but it's spellcaster lean, so I could use a wind spell and get that similar level of boost from the spellcaster lean armor that I might get in Necromancer. Those are all really good things. So the armor is great for mages. Warriors and rangers, obviously. You don't have a mana bar. The skill costs mana. It's not going to work for you. But I'm very happy with this armor in terms of quality and usability. Now, so I think the weapon is great. I'm going to try using the weapon for some early game leveling strategies. Specifically for warriors, I'm going to try using it with H-Series and the Trontosaurus Rex to kill Nerf Kitten and or Shadow Rock a little faster. But where should we go today? Let's go to Greenguard Forest. Elven Warrior. Didn't know this mob was still in rotation. But this armor, I don't know if I mentioned, this armor is also dual element, water and earth. Pretty much can defend against both. Earth is like 2% weaker, but it's about the same. But I'm just going to spam some abilities and chat about the items. I like the auto hit earth weapon because warriors could really use some auto hit. They could use better up-to-date auto hit. Rangers technically have some better auto hit options because back in the day, ranger auto hit items had less penalties than warrior auto hit items and mage auto hit items for because of the dex reasons. Not very important, but so rangers were already less impacted. They were still impacted, obviously, but this new standard auto hit for warriors, I think, will be great. The only thing I'm sad about is that it's a seasonal item, and it would be great to have all year round for XP farming because, again, an earth auto hit weapon is perfect for warrior farming. But is what it is. Can't have everything. I like the weapon. I like the art on the weapon, even though I can't pick between the two versions. The armor, I think it looks great. I am a little bit sad that the armor reuses animations, not only for the armor itself, but also for the built-in spell. I wish they could have done something new with it, but is what it is. I believe the spell is a clone of Dryad Aqua Blast, or whatever that's called. Which makes sense because it's a Dryad armor using a water spell, but, still a shame. So, what I'm saying is, gameplay-wise, both items... Oh. Well, we did just soft lock the game. So that's kind of unfortunate. But I'll keep chatting a little bit so I don't lose my train of thoughts. And then I'll restart and unpause the recording. So, gameplay-wise, the items are great. What I'm going to talk about next is the lore behind the items and the release of the items. Okay, we're back. And given that the armor soft locked the game, I'm going to chill with the random combat. I'm going to take a look at the grenwog location because this is one part of the release that I actually want to bash a little bit. So the grenwog release, you might not notice anything missing. But apparently they lost a bunch of shops. So there used to be, for the eagle-eyed viewer, might remember that there used to be 2 pages of grenwog items. But now there's only a go back button, not a next page button. So they forgot somehow to add those in, which is a bummer. Especially for the baby egg pet. I was actually gonna grab it on an alt and use it to kill Cat Shiro in the Neko quest because I was kind of getting dogged. But it's a shame. So I think like rough that they didn't have time to playtest the release, and I do enjoy the release. I love the items. The war boss and the quest boss both pretty linear. You just defend against the correct elements, and you beat them basically. And so that's I mean, me personally, I love I love the more complex aspects of the game. I love to explore random stuff and like find difficult bosses and play around with them. It's like not every release can be. I said I wasn't going to do combat. I'm going to just do combat anyways. Who cares? Not every release can be a banger. Not every release can have like a super interesting boss. But it is a shame that these last two bosses, are just plain dummies in a sense. And that being said, I enjoyed the Loco boss. I plan to make a couple videos killing him. I enjoyed the Wind Fool boss or whatever it's called. I think that's nice as well. But I do think it's a shame that that these two bosses in particular are quite plain. Not a problem necessarily, but I would have loved if they'd been a little more interesting. And then for the second thing, I want to talk about the limited playtesting that the dev team seems to have time for. And again, I think I've talked about this in the past. But when I say that the dev team is making a mistake, I don't mean to be flaming any of the devs. I think that there's like a management issue at some level where they're not given enough time to like make the game the way they want to because they don't have time for things like playtesting. But the reason that I know they don't have time is for things like playtesting. Oh, what the hell? Just got blasted. But the reason that I know is because the weapons didn't auto-hit or burn on release. And that's like if you attack with it for 2 turns, the combat practice trainer, you'll figure that out. Which just like, it's a downer when the item completely doesn't work. Oh, I might die to this snail. That's embarrassing. But easy tank, by the way. So it's like a downer when the items don't work. And then for the grenwog release as well, not only did the boss have some misplaced mechanics on release, again, the boss didn't have complicated mechanics, but its accuracy lean and dodge lean, they were slightly off for the different versions of the boss in the quest. So it's a shame. And also, the grenwog release is missing some items and some quests. Maybe not some quests, actually. I haven't checked. But it's missing content, which is a shame, especially because Baby Egg is such a banger pet. I'll make a video on it, maybe, at some point. But it's just pretty nice. It's better than Fairy Godmother for healing or for defensive purposes. And like 9 times out of 10, it's just really good. You have to have like a one-hit effect, a one-hit monster for it to be less good. Or you need to be using pet Lucky Strikes. Either way, it's just a really good pet. So it's a shame that like that and some other items, I think the Ferocious Grenwog Hide or Ferocious Grenwog Hunter is also missing. Obviously, less people care about that, but some people do, and that's important enough. So I wish the team management made more time so that the developers could spend more time on prepping the releases and or playtesting. Because I think these types of bugs ideally wouldn't happen. And again, not bashing specific devs. I think they all did a great job. But I just think that if they had more time, they'd be able to make better releases and like have a more solid, more solid platform to release off of. Because like the weapon was bugged on release, the Grenwog quest was bugged on release, the Grenwog hub was bugged on release, and so it's just kind of a shame that all these things are broken when they really don't have to be, with like half an hour of playtesting, and then you can go and fix the problem. And of course, I don't know the inner workings of the AQ team, but I can't imagine that they tested the weapons, saw that the auto hit wasn't working, and they were like, oh, whatever. Like, I just can't imagine that happens. which is why I think they need more time, or they need to be given more time in their schedules from a managerial standpoint to work on the playtesting. So that was a little negative. But overall, very happy with both the War release and the quest release for Grenwog. I think the quest is fun. We got a little bit of a lore bomb. The Name Eater monster. We're kind of hyping up the Name Eaters. The Primordials, the Name Eaters, the people who maybe brainwashed Candy Cane and the family from Christmas, if you remember that, from Frostvale. So I think that's exciting. I'm hoping we get some fun lore, some interesting quests, maybe unique monster fights. I don't know, maybe a mini game or something where you like hide your name. I don't know. I'm just saying random stuff. Probably won't happen. But I think it's cool that we're hyping up a foe again. Because I think we haven't had a good quest saga. Well, we haven't finished the Chessmaster saga. Like, that has to finish as well. So I'm just excited that we're getting new monsters hyped up. Hopefully they remember to finish the Chessmaster saga. But in the meantime, I'm excited for these new Fey creatures. Apparently the lore, I missed it last time, but apparently if you do the Bark and Bite quest, which I believe is a Harvest Fest seasonal, they mentioned the Name Eaters in that quest, and they mentioned them in this new Dryad quest as well. So it's just exciting, I think, to be going into this new saga, or getting teasers for this new saga that we don't know about yet. So I think it's fun. I'm excited. And again, I do wish they had more time for playtesting, but the items are great, although they were bugged at first. And the armor soft locks the game. I'll put it in a bug report maybe. But I do think the items effects are very good and very usable by many players without being like significant power creep. They're just extra utility given to the player and extra gap filling given to the player. So with that being said, very happy with the release. Wish a couple things were different, but I'm very satisfied. And I'm excited to think of some uses for this new free-to-play Earth and Water Spellcaster Lean Armor, and to test out these new auto-hit weapons. I think they're going to come in clutch, and I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me ramble. Have a great day. Spread some peace and love, and take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.